Well, good day, DTL crew. This is Brian Liberati, your PGA golf professional, with a preview of the Open Championship. Now, it used to be called the British Open when I was a kid because they played all the events in Great Britain and Scotland. But 3 times they have not done that. And this golf course, Port Royal Rush, is the course they've used 3 times. So that's why they changed it to the Open. I still want to call it the British Open. All right, this is in Northern Ireland. It's on the North Channel of the Atlantic Ocean. So it's right on the coast. Weather's going to be very, very important here. Now, it's early in the week, I know, but they're talking about a chance of rain every day and wind. Now, who knows how much rain it'll be? Will it be all day? Will it be just, at an hour or so? Hard to say. And what might happen in this tournament, it might be like for some of you that do bet golf, it could be the wave, like the morning wave, first day, afternoon wave, the second day could be better than the afternoon wave, morning wave, day to day. We don't know, though. It's really hard to say. What's really interesting about this golf course, though, it only has 57 bunkers. And most links courses usually have about 100 or more. This course is really unusual in that matter. They, of course, have lots of pot bunkers, those small bunkers. But what's interesting, too, the bunkers they have out in the fairway, they're in the fairway. Like last week at the Scottish Open, the pot bunkers were off the fairway. But these are in the fairway. They're in the way. The ball can fly right into them, run right into them. And what's interesting, too, a good amount of the greens don't even have bunkers around them. But you'll find the greens are so undulating. There's so many hills and mounds and everything, and it drops off. So if you miss the green, you're going to get penalized. In fact, I did post this in Discord, but maybe just as a reminder to some of you, if you get a chance the next day or two, search on Google or wherever, Golf Digest, every hole, Royal Point Rush. It's about a 12-minute video by drone, but it shows you every golf hole, and you'll see all the trouble around. It's a really cool view. It's a beautiful course because you won't see a tree. There's only water on 2 holes, and it's just a small drain. You'll see the ocean in the background on some of the holes, but there's a lot of elevation changes. There's these sand hills around. Plus, you're going to see a lot of what they call gorse bushes, just a clump of bushes. And if a golf ball goes in there, I almost promise you the player's going to have to take an unplayable lie and add a penalty stroke to a score. So if you're off the fairway, you're going to lose probably a stroke each hole. Conversely, if you're in one of those pot bunkers, if you're up close to the front of it, I would say it's going to add a half to a full stroke also to the player. So being in the fairway is going to be very critical. Hitting greens, very critical. I hate to say you cannot get away with much on this course because it depends, of course. Now, if it's raining or if it rains periodically, even at night, if the course is softer, the fairways are going to play wider because the ball's not going to roll and run as much, which will help some players if it does that. Back in 2019, when Shane Lowry won, the course was soft. So he shot like 63, I think, on Saturday. It's not going to happen this week unless it's soft and wet. It will not. Also, to the greens. For some of you that might know this, they use a stimp meter to measure the speed of golf greens. This one's going to play at either 10 to 10.5. Almost every other PGA Tour event, the stimp meter is 12.5 to 13, which is quite a variance, almost 2 to 3 feet less. They have to do it at this course because of the weather. If it gets windy off the ocean, it would be hard for the ball to stay on the green. It really would. It would really make the course unplayable. So they have to slow down the greens so the ball will stay on the greens. Now, also, too, what will happen, and if you watched the Scottish Open last week, because the greens are slower, they bounce a little more. They do not roll near as smooth as the courses we have over here. Like if you watch Scotty Scheffler, he was getting very frustrated on the putting green because the ball has a tendency to bounce. It's not that he stroked it bad. It's just with him being slower. So with putting, you have to be a little fortunate on these greens sometimes. I mean, you can hit a very good putt and you might miss it, even though it's like, how did that not go in the hole? So there's a lot of factors involved on this golf course. Now, what I would say, I would look for players who hit a lot of the driving accuracy, hit a lot of fairways, and hit a good amount of greens in regulation. Because like I was talking about earlier, this course, accuracy is so important, and distance control. Really, really, really important. Also, what's interesting on this course, there's 2 or 3 holes that have in course out of bounds. It's on the inside perimeter of the course. You don't see that a whole lot, especially in a championship course. But I think they have at least 2 holes that do that. There's one hole that has out of bounds on both sides of the fairway. And I believe it's number 4. It has out of bounds on the right side of the fairway, and it's only about 5 yards off the fairway. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it pinches everything in. So, like I said, you're going to have to really think a lot and plan a lot. And truthfully, if the weather's bad, take a bogey and be happy. Just stay away from the double bogeys and higher. I mean, that's about all you can do. Now, in regards to players who I'm looking at, I love Scotty, but I do not think he's going to win this week. If you watched him last week, tee to green, he was wonderful. But his putting, he struggles sometimes on these slower greens. It wouldn't surprise me if he finishes top 10. You know, what else, right? That's Scotty. But I'm not going to play him to win. I'm not. Rory, different. Rory grew up on links style course. He played really well last week. He couldn't make a birdie the last 10 holes, but I mean, otherwise, he played great. His putting was probably his best putting round or putting tournament ever. He was incredible on the greens overall. He missed some late, but overall, really good. I'm not going to play Rory either. I don't like betting the favorites very often. I like to play against the favorites or beat the favorites. That's how I bet horse racing. I'm not saying I never bet favorites or play favorites, but I like to try to beat the favorites. You know, I like that plus money. All right, so I was talking about accuracy off the tee. One thing I did forget too, if you can flight the ball low, this is very important in this course, especially, of course, if it gets windy. Flighting it lower, you can control the ball better, the flight and direction of it. And you really need to be able to shape the ball right to left and left to right. It's got a decent amount of dog-leg holes. It really does. So I'm looking at somebody, he's not putting the best, but I'm looking at Xander Schauffele. He's at plus 2,500. I know he hasn't won this year. He played well last week again, but tee to green, he's been on fire. He's amazing. And I got a feeling his putting's going to wake up one of these days. You know, I mean, I really, really do. The other one I like as a winner, and I played him last week, was Matt Fitzpatrick. I had him at 45 to 1. He finished third, but he was right there to the last 2 or 3 holes. He really could have won it. And again, he's from England. He grew up on links courses. His drive, he drives the ball low. His irons, they're lower than most players. So he can handle that. He's a great short game. His putting right now, the last 4 or 5 tournaments, best he's been putting all year. And he's at plus 5,500. Again, I like money like that. I'm not saying I'm going to put a lot on both of them, but hey, I like the chance like that. Now, for top 10, I like Jon Rahm. He drives the ball low. He can flight it under the wind. He can hit the ball left to right. His normal shot is a left to right, a fade. Or if you've ever watched him, when he lines up a driver or 3-wood, like 3 or 4 inches behind the ball, that's when he's trying to draw the ball or hit it right to left. And he's able to shape the ball both ways overall. He's got a great short game. He's played real well in open championships over the years. So I'd be shocked if he does not play well. The other top 10 I like is Victor Hovland. He's at plus 280. He is tee to green, been on fire. Last week, his approach game from like the fairways in, he was number 1 in strokes gained. His putting's really good. The only drawback, his wedge play around the green is not the best, but he might not have to use that a lot here. He might be putting a lot off the greens. So I like him though, because he plays hard all the time. He never gives up. Okay, now top 20. To me, this person fits exactly what I've been talking about. Russell Henley. He's at plus 175. His drive, he drives it low, so he can control the flight, windy or not. His iron play, he hits a lot of greens. I think he's top 10 in greens in regulation. He putts very well. He has a really good short game. And he plays very well on harder courses. You know, he went at the Arnold Palmer or Bay Hill earlier this year. He was good in a couple of the majors earlier this year. And I just like him. I mean, he tries so hard. And I love his game. The other top 20 I like, you guys might be a little surprised. I like Harris English. He's at plus 260. He's had a great year. If you look back at his what he's done this year, a lot of top 10 finishes. These last 2 months, he's been really, really good. He hits the ball really solid. He's got a great swing. He doesn't swing hard, which is great into the wind. Because when you swing slower into the wind, the ball goes farther. And people kind of go, what? You put less spin on the ball. When you swing harder, you spin the ball more. And if you're hitting into the wind's going to grab it and just knock it down. He hits more of a penetrating shot. His iron play has been fabulous lately. I mean, dialed in. He's putting really well. Probably his best putting year. Now, I will, let's see, this is Tuesday. I will, either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, I will put a couple matchups or other wagers I believe I like. And this, and hopefully you all understand when I put these out, I'm not expecting you to play all these. I put like more than one player out in each category because, check things out. And if you don't like any of them, that's fine too. Hopefully maybe some of the information on this video helps you if you're studying, if you use analytics, if you study the metrics, because like I said, those are the players I really believe have a good chance. And again, as I've always said, if you have questions, leave them in Discord. Let me know in the detail room. And I want to thank AB as always, and I appreciate it. And let's have a great week and let's cash some tickets.